If you want to know what happened between Manchester United and Cadiz and you couldn't be bothered to watch that friendly, then give me 10 minutes of your life. This is going to be my match review, speaking about the first half, the starting 11, and the second half, and the youngsters that came out, the standout performances. We're going to speak about Zidane, Iqbal. We're going to speak about Kobbie, Mainoo. We're going to speak about Van der Beek, Wan Bissaka. Look, Manchester United lost 4-2. The result will not matter. The result does not matter. There were some positives to take from that game, and I imagine Ten Hag will be taking some positives from that game. We're looking at the standout main positives. Anthony Martial getting back among the goals, got a Panenka penalty. I mean, Man United, the goals we conceded, they were pretty poor. Just switched off. First goal was a free kick, 1-2 from Cadiz down on the edge of the box, whipped in. No one was there at the back post. Headed back across goal, 1-0. Second one was a bit of a counter-attack. Again, it was very easy for them. Pass, dummy, goal. United did not defend very well in that first half. United didn't really defend overall that well in the entire game. As I said, this was a starting 11, and there were a lot of first-team players there. You had Mengi starting alongside Lindelof in the centre-back positions. For the wing-backs, you had Wan Bissaka and you had Williams. I'll be honest, Wan Bissaka probably got outplayed by Marc Girardo, who came on in the second half. I'm not so... Maybe I'm looking at Wan Bissaka with a hypercritical eye. But given what Diogo Dalot is doing, I expect him to come in and show similar characteristics. First half, Williams and Wan Bissaka, neither of them really overlapped. They tried to cut inside. They kind of didn't really know what to do. That's kind of the way I would give the assessment at the first half. But Martial getting back among the goals, it was good to see him playing. He dropped deep quite a lot, trying to link up the play. I imagine that won't need to happen when you've got Bruno Fernandes behind you and you've got Eriksen behind you. But in that first half, I think the main person I want to speak about is Zidane Iqbal. He really kind of played in the Christian Eriksen type role. He was the conductor. Anything good that was happening with Manchester United going forward, he was the man who had the ball at his feet. Every time he didn't have the ball at his feet, he was asking for it, and his teammates were looking for him. McTominay and Van der Beek was playing slightly further forward. It was a little bit dynamic, but Iqbal himself was... I imagine if you were to look at the stats after the game, he was the one that had the ball at his feet the most. Impressed me in a similar way to how he impressed me in the pre-season. And I think Ten Hag would be looking at him and he would have been happy with what he saw from Iqbal. But overall, what he saw from that team, not particularly good. Garnacho, interestingly enough, started out on the right wing to begin the game, but kept switching with Elanga, left and right wing. Elanga was... Elanga. I think we all know the capabilities and the ceiling of Elanga, and I don't think it's going to surprise you by me saying that he didn't play particularly well. He didn't really beat his man. Garnacho tried to beat his man, but Cadiz were a stronger team. We had a strong enough 11 out in that first half. But Garnacho, he was getting doubled up on. Every time he tried to square up to his man, he didn't get past him. They were being a bit rough and ready for a friendly, if I'm being completely honest. There definitely could have been a couple of yellow cards that came out. But as is tradition, in the second half, the whole team changed. This was the second team. So if we go back to what we saw in the first half, that was this picture there. We had Van der Beek starting. We had Wan Bissaka. We had Martial, Dubravka, McTominay, Garnacho, Iqbal, Elanga, Williams. Plenty of first-team players there. In the second half, it was a totally different 11. And it was effectively a lot of the players who played in the FA Youth Cup. We had Dubravka staying in goal. We had Gerardo, Fredrickson, Deschamps Bernard, and we had Sam Murray at left back. We had Charlie Savage, Kobbie Mainoo in midfield, the player that I've been wanting and waiting to see. We had Hansen Aaron, Emerin out on the right wing, Shoretire on the left wing, and McNeil. And I'll be honest, look, it might have finished 4-2, but there were definitely some individual positives that we can take from that. And for me, in the same way that I would probably focus on Zidane Iqbal for the first half, I would probably focus on Kobbie Mainoo for the second half. Again, maybe because I was looking for it. But you just watch Kobbie Mainoo and he just doesn't look like someone who's 17. I think I've said this before, and I don't think the Pogba comparisons are fair in terms of the stylistic play. But the reason I use that comparison is because when I used to watch Paul Pogba play at under 18s, I looked at him and went, nah, man, he's way too good for under 18s. And Kobbie Mainoo looked comfortable. He got the goal, which brought United back to 2-2. But then ultimately, Cadiz's experience and their knowledge and game management, they were just better than us. They were just better than United. But Kobbie Mainoo, no, it wasn't just the fact that he got a deflected goal. I mean, a deflected goal, it kind of means nothing really. But it was just, he was winning the ball back. He was showing himself with the ball. He was physical in midfield. He was up for a battle. And I just like the style and the profile of Kobbie Mainoo. I see him as hopefully, look, if we had Alejandro Garnacho, we have had Garnacho breaking through this season. I hope that next season we can have the same conversation about Kobbie Mainoo. I don't imagine it'll be this year. It's all about management, but he's 17. He's younger than Garnacho. He's got plenty of career ahead of him, and he really, for him to come in and do that, it was kind of what I wanted to see and what I'd hoped to see, and what we did see. And the players around him, I think they enjoy playing with him. I'm sure Atire surprised me quite a bit, actually. I'm not, look, I know he broke through into the first team a while ago, but I've always felt that a loan spell would really, really help Atire's game. I still kind of stand by that. But out on the left-hand side, there was one particular like scorpion touch, little back over the back of him, cracking touch. But going forward, it was probably Emeren on the right-hand side who was offering more. United just weren't offering that much. And in defence, you know, Sam Murray was trying down the left-hand side. Marc Jurado was trying on the right. And it was ultimately the kind of thing that killed the game was Deschamps Bernard passed it back to Charlie Savage, who somehow let the ball just squeeze through his legs. No idea how he managed to do that. It's just a lapse of concentration. I think you can pretty much say that about the majority of United's defenders in the first and the second half. But in that first half, look, I think Erik ten Hag will be taking notes from Iqbal's performance today. He's very comfortable on the ball. He wanted the ball. As I said, he operated like Eriksen in that team. And that's the kind of good thing about watching Erik ten Hag's teams now. You know what players should be doing because we've seen it game in, game out in the first team. And I think Iqbal did quite well in that first half. I think the majority of the rest of the team was a little bit lost. Defensively, we were pretty much all over the place. First half, 2 sloppy goals conceded. Second half, 2 sloppy goals conceded. It was just a lot of sloppiness. And it's not going to be a game where the result is the most important thing. First and foremost, it's fitness. First and foremost, it's seeing the likes of Anthony Martial get back on the score sheet. But I tell you what, for a few of those players there, I'm looking at Wan Bissaka, I'm looking at Van der Beek, and I'm looking at Elanga. 3 considered senior players. 3, some of them, I suppose they are senior players. I think there were other. I think Emeren in the second half played better than Elanga in the first half. I think Kobbie Mainoo in the second half played better than Van der Beek did in the first half. And I think probably Jurado did actually play better than Wan Bissaka in the second half as well. I think they were outperformed by the younger players in the second half. They just can't do that. They just can't do that. Not with Delot playing so well. Not with Bruno playing like he's playing and still playing at the World Cup. Both of them playing at the World Cup. And with so much Rashford as well, there's going to be so many options that we've got on the wings. If any of those players want to get into this first team on a regular basis, they've got to impress. And this was an opportunity to do it, and I don't think they did. If I was going to choose a man of the match, I mean, you can't really choose a man of the match because you lost 4-2, but the performer of the first half was Zidane Iqbal, and the performer of the second half was Kobbie Mainoo. And that's encouraging, and I think you should be excited about that going forward. Let's see what happens about whether or not... you might get, I imagine you'll probably get a similar sort of start 11 against Real Betis on Saturday. My match reaction to that, I probably won't have a match reaction to that. I'm in London for a wedding. Big up, Alex. So I'll probably do like a 5 things we learned the day after. But Van der Beek was weak. Wan Bissaka was weak. Defensively, we were kind of at 6s and 7s, and it's kind of to be expected somewhat. Iqbal impressed me. Kobbie Mainoo impressed me. Sure, Atire was quite good. Jurado was good. I think as a team in the second half, we actually pressed better and played better as an overall team than we did in the first half. And it's kind of, I suppose, not too much of a surprise because a lot of them have played the FA Youth Cup final, FA Youth Cup run last year. A lot of them were involved in it. I enjoyed watching Hansen, but he didn't have too much of the ball. And I haven't even mentioned Charlie McNeil yet, but that kind of goes to show you how out of the game Charlie McNeil was. One of the players that I identified that I really was looking forward to seeing. No service whatsoever. Really isolated, hardly had a touch of the ball. Certainly by comparison of how involved Martial was. Martial was better at dropping deeper and sort of bringing the play up. Charlie McNeil kind of stuck to his position. Different sorts of strikers. Not a criticism, but just an observation. Now you can let me know what you think about it in the comments below, whether or not you watched the game. And if you didn't, well, I've summed it all up in 10 minutes for you. So now you know exactly what happened. That's worth a like on the video, right? Maybe not.